Remember, Issue Your Turn is an interactive program, so the numbers to call are 457-9997 if you're calling from a local landline, 532-9997 if you're calling from a digital cell phone, and you can also send us a message or call us on WhatsApp at 457-9997. This Your Turn program is being hosted by Mr. Cecil Ryan, Mr. Philbert, Mr. Joel Providence, and Mr. Fitzgerald Huggins. Good morning to you, Cecil.
Good morning to you, Karen, and good morning to my colleagues in studio, Philbert, Joel, and Fitz. And good morning to all of you who are listening to our program at this time, whether you're listening through the WEFM or via the WEFM platforms or the Star FM. And Garifuna and else. Greetings and welcome to another Issue at Hand program for October 26, 2025. And October 26 is pre-Independence date, Independence Day, and it's post yours truly birth date. So Pijan, over to you.
Thank you very much, Cecil. And good morning to all of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and to all persons listening to WEFM wherever you are, in neighboring territories in the wider diaspora. Good morning. It's a beautiful Sunday in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We have been blessed with reasonably good weather. We hope it is kept so. And as usual, we bring to you an interesting discussion. Quite a number of issues in the air and we want to touch on. So good morning, and let me hand you over to Fitz.
Good morning to Pijan, Cecil, Joel, and Kieran in studio this morning, and especially a good morning to listeners. I'm really excited to be here this morning with this team. I look forward to some fruitful discussions on some really juicy issues that that we've been covering all week and leading up to next week as we get deeper into the election season. So I'm really looking forward to this program.
And Joel?
Over to you, Joel.
Sorry.
Yes, thank you. I am happy.
Good.
I know Cecil would like that because he said the program is your time. It's supposed to be like a happy program if you was in happiness. But I'm happy about today. It reminded me, first of all, it threw me back a year ago. And I felt very proud to be a Vincentian last year, especially when we recognized what transpired at Victoria Park. And the day after, with the parade and so forth, and the crowd that was there and everything. People just felt good to be in their national colors and to feel good about themselves, being nationals of St. Vincent and Grenadines. And I feel the same way today. And I recognize that there's so many good things happening around St. Vincent, well, for the whole month of October and so forth. And there's so many things to look forward to in the days and weeks ahead. And I would be certainly glad to discuss and share my views on some of these things.
Yes, sorry about that, gentlemen, and those who are following and listening and watching us on Facebook. Just that I had to communicate with the best technician in the world is Kieran. He supports us well, and he knows he solves all the problems that we encounter while we are here. So, Joel, yes, so you're a happy man today. That's good. I hope it rubs off on me. Actually, yes, it will rub off, of course. It will strengthen my own feeling of happiness, of course. So it's good to be in studio this morning, guys, all of us.
Cecil, if we knew Joel was going to come with this happy feeling, we could have played that song, because I'm happy.
Well, we can still play it. I'm sure that Kieran will bring it up.
Kieran, have that lineup, man.
Are we have to?
Pharrell Williams?
Pharrell, yeah.
Kieran would locate that and bring it up for us. He's able to do all those kind of things on the spot. So which means that Joel's happy feeling would rub off on all of us in the studio and those who are listening and following us. Well, we hope that is the case. Yeah. In the meantime, though, gentlemen, I just want to say, and as you know, and in a way, Philbert has already indicated that this morning we're going to be looking at basically broadly three things, three issues. But I just want to again remind us and tell our listeners. Well, while I'm doing that, you see that Fitz, our quite able and competent technician here, don't bring it up. So let's play it then. Joel?
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here. You can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that could go to space. With the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Here come bad news, talking this and that. Well, give me all you got and don't hold it back. Well, I should probably warn you, I'll be just fine. No offense to you, don't waste your time. Here's why. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you.
All right, sorry about that, but we would complement that one later with one by Marshall Montano, written by our own Skinny Fabulous. So, but for now, that piece would suffice us. We would come back to that. Of course, another one we have to play, and I'm going to ask Kieran to line the one up for us. I forgot to tell him earlier. The skits.
Yes.
We have to. That's our unofficial national anthem. We got to line up skates as well to play. I've asked him to line up an interesting one, which I know Joel would be. I haven't indicated to Joel yet which one that is, but I know he would love that one. All right, but in the meantime, folks, it's good to be in studio. Let me just tell our listeners where we want to go with our discussion today. We want to look at, of course, for the 6th anniversary of independence. We want to look also at what we consider, or what I noted as threat to national and regional sovereignty. And of course, the elections issues are trending, and we want to look at some of them. So those are the three areas we want to touch on and invite those persons who are listening and who wish to comment on them to do so. But I don't know, gentlemen, is there anything any of you want to lead off on in particular? Just to say, kind of on a little sad note, our friend and colleague, Marlon Stevenson, he did message me in the week and to share with me that his dad, Mutt, the famous Mutt, Mobby, pause that area, passed away. So I just want to express condolence, Marlon, and his relatives and friends on the passing of his dad. It happened sometime only last week, actually. Sorry, not this week, last week. Yeah. Fitz, I noticed you were bowing your head just now.
Yeah, I was bowing my head in response to you talking about Mutt.
Yes.
The famous Marby Mutt in
Yes.
Falls Avenue. Condolences to Marlon and the rest of the family, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, Cecil, I don't know how you want to start off, which topic?
Well, maybe we should start with
let me
issues.
let me first start with congratulating the government and people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines on the port. Last night, the opening ceremony at the port was really, really magnificent. We heard lovely speeches, endorsements, great praises for particularly Mr. Lenski Douglas. I told him, I said, man, I love you like my son, because he's a phenomenal young man. Congrats to Lenski for excellent work done, and Akon, but also Julian Francis. He was there. I know he was the minister who started off the port, and until he fell into some health issues. Then my friend Minister Benava Brown, I think she's just so full of energy, and so always you can see the love she has for St. Vincent and the Grenadines and for politics. So I think that's one for the future. But it was really last night. It was a magnificent event, and the Prime Minister delivered a typical Prime Minister speech. And
typical Ralph
Gonsalves speech. I saw the opposition leader. He was there for a short period before he left, and it was good to see that the opposition came. The opposition leader came. I can't remember seeing any other members of the opposition there.
No, probably up in
the other side of the country.
Up in the other side, up north. Yes.
Up north, yeah. But yeah, last night was really a magnificent ceremony, and I was really happy to be there and to see so many people turning out and enjoying what seemed to be the one of the platforms for, as the Prime Minister calls it, a modern post-colonial economy.
Well, I just want to join you, Fitz, in congratulating the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and of course, the government, and in particular, the names that you've called, from the top Prime Minister Gonsalves, Minister Benava Brown, Lenski Douglas, and all those who were involved in the construction, and those who financed the entities that financed the construction of the project. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it, but saw you two guys very prominent, Joel and
we were sitting closely.
I saw you on TV.
Oh, okay.
Pigeon, Pigeon, you didn't make it.
I don't move out after 6.
Okay, all right. So it sounds like, so I didn't make it, but I just want to. But I agree with you, Fitz, that port is going to be a lasting edifice for the government and for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and by the Eastern Caribbean, because I've heard it mentioned by Dr. Isaac Solomon, for example, talking about the significance of the port, and the British also ambassador mentioned it to the Eastern Caribbean and shipping, and that's comes from being visionary, and strategic in thinking in terms of development. So I really want to, and incidentally, gentlemen, I need to tell you, on my way down, I saw a ship. I don't know if you saw it, docked.
A ship was docked last night.
I'm sure I saw one this morning.
Yeah, it's probably, I know, but one docked in late last night, Joel. You were there when it docked?
I have all the particulars on the ship.
All right, Joel, there you go.
I can speak to
over to you, Joel, right away.
Okay. Yeah, well, it was good to be there, and I think it was a great activity, and congratulations to the government and to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I just wanted to, now the work begins. Now one phase is over, and the work begins now to making the port work. And there are a couple of things that you have to focus on. Is first of all, what impact it is going to have on economic activity in the country. You have to look at things like efficiency, increased efficiency compared with Camden Park and the old Kingston port, and then how does it deal with supply chain matters, and how what is the multiplier effect on and other things in St. Vincent. I just wanted to make a brief comment on the ship that came in last evening. I'm very much aware of the ship in so far that I had negotiated with that shipping line maybe about 15 years, about less ago. So
he has shares in it, man.
Well, that's
on
good.
behalf of,
That's good.
No, on behalf of, but no, not quite 15, but maybe it's about 10. But I have been involved in the shipping business. Actually, I wanted to indicate, well, I've been involved in shipping from an agency standpoint for 30 years. But I actually, as I told the chairman of the Port Authority last evening, my very first job for which I was paid anything was as a stevedore. I worked as a stevedore at the age of 16 or 15 and a half. Actually having completed, 15 and a half, after actually completed GC, right? And then the chief stevedore was a gentleman named, we used to call him Mucho Ben. Noel Jackson knows him quite well, who lives at New Montrose. And he was well known by the people in the area. And so they just tell my father, so let Joel come down and do work at some. Myself and Big Buddy, Francis Williams, went to work on a break bulk vessel. And in those days, the cargo wasn't in containers. Basically, it's break bulk. You throw it down in a hatch and so on. You have to lift up box by box by box. That's how it was and so on. It was not necessary. But so I have had an association with the port for a very long time. But I just wanted to say, for example, that last evening that I was told that King Ocean Shipping was the very first container vessel to call that. Yeah, and they called while the ceremony had not yet been completed. And they discharged at a rate that was roughly 40 to 45% of what the rate would have been at Camden Park. They were discharging containers at the rate of just about 5 minutes per container. And this is
compared to what?
Compared to 12, 13 minutes at Camden Park. At Camden Park, is well, for a while they weren't using the onshore crane. They're using the ship's crane, and the ship's crane, stevedores have to go and they have to latch the containers one by one, and then it comes onto the dock, and then you have to have like the low boy to take it into a particular position, and the low boy has to come back and so forth. So it takes much longer. But now you have a situation where you have 5 minutes or less, and so forth, and that the ship was in and out, completed its process in a little bit over 2 hours, 2 hours and 20 minutes or something.
So typically at Camden Park,
would have been easily been 5 hours or something and so on. Now, what does that do? It impacts the whole part of the supply chain, an important arm in the supply chain thing, because sometimes a ship might say, well, I can't fit in St. Vincent into my schedule, my itinerary, right? Because it's going to take offload. Yes, and first of all, there's waiting time at the port before I can get to dock, and then after that, I have it's going to take me 8 hours or whatever it is. I'm going to take quite a while, and so forth. And then say, nah, I can't. I will go to St. Lucia. I might drop off the containers in St. Lucia in Barbados, and a smaller vessel might come back and pick them up and so on. Like a regional and so on, especially certain like tropical and so on would do things like that. And so forth. Now you can virtually say, well, okay, I can easily schedule things into St. Vincent, drop it off 2-3 hours, and I'm gone. By sun up, I'm in St. Lucia, and I can do it and so forth. So take the implications of that. Then if you can get improved scheduling, could you imagine what is for persons like yourself and so on, who you might have certain projects that, let's say you're building a fantastic boutique hotel. I'm just saying, I'm exposing your business, but
thank you.
Yes, and so forth. And or people want to build, and they have time constraints, and there's certain materials that you need to get out of, say, Panama in short order. Now, traditionally or historically, you would have to wait for maybe 28 to 33 days to get that material out of Panama. Because the lines would say virtually move from Panama up to Jamaica, then transshipped in Jamaica, and then eventually get to St. Vincent. Now you can virtually get within 14 days and so on. So what does that mean to you? Instead of 33 days, and you can now get it in less than half the time. That helps you to plan and to deal with what your whole project and so on is all about. What we then also have to check now to say, do we have a 24-hour port, or at least say a 16-hour port in all its dimensions? I'm not just talking in terms of the ship docking alone, but it also means that the customs working and that the containers can move at 5 o'clock in the morning and so on to avoid the traffic, and if it's just a container at Diamond or wherever and so forth. We just now need to get that information that the customs and everything is in line and so on, in such a way, everything is so aligned that we have the kind of efficiency that truly internationalizes the port. So it is.
So my question to you as a person who's been involved in port management, stevedoring and all that, how would that translate to the ordinary man pocket? What is there a saving to be had? Would goods be cheaper as a result of better efficiency? So I don't know if you want to talk to that.
Well, there may be a couple of things. Sometimes some importers, for one reason or the other, they may actually incur warehouse rent. Because there's the time
which they will pass on to
the consumer. So that is one particular factor and so forth. But by and large, too, you can also say to the importer can negotiate with the shipping line and say, look, you're coming into St. Vincent now with greater degree of efficiency and so on, rather than charging me $4,000 for this container of 40-foot.
I just save you 3 hours.
Yes, and so forth. Yeah, so you voted now. So the people of St. Vincent and Grenadines made an investment to benefit you. You virtually have to give back something now in a way. So instead of 4,000 and so on, you're saving time, because a ship docked doesn't really make money, just like an airplane on the ground. You have to virtually be on the seas or in the air and so forth. So we are making it much easier for you to transit to St. Vincent and so forth. So your rate now, and as a result, there should be an increase in volume and so forth, and so forth. So you should really now be offering a reduced rate. And I would then in turn, because remember the freight is also dutiable. So you have to pay the duty and the customs and so on. Also on the CIF value. So all of that now is passed on. My landed costs and my distribution or wholesale or retail costs should be less and so forth. And I therefore should be able to pass on some of that on to the consumer. So there should be a benefit.
I'm thinking if a ship calls to Kingston and it's saving them maybe 50% of the time they spend normally, I'm sure some part of the calculation would be, if I go into Kingston to Camden Park, it would have taken me 5 hours, and that's a cost. But now if they went into Camden Park, it would take you 5 hours. Now if you go into Kingston, it takes you 2 hours.
Right.
That's increased efficiency.
Yeah.
Your cost should reduce, and hence they should pass that cost, that saving, to the end customer.
Yes. So there's a savings in terms of time because
exactly.
time is an
money.
element, right? But there may also be a saving in terms of the cost of energy and so. It depends on how they can actually move between ports and so forth. So there could be a saving there as well and so forth. So and I saw the shipping agents and regionally and internet were at the function last evening as well in attendance, and I'm sure that I did not have a discussion with them on the question, but I'm sure that they were pleased with what they witnessed. But I think it's so just on the question of efficiency from a supply chain and operations at the port standpoint, that the country benefits, the consumer should benefit, and just generally anything that has a knock-on effect. it will redound to the benefit of any one of us engaged in business, or if we are the end user. We haven't yet discussed, and we can discuss at some point now, the actual overall broader economic effect in terms of increased imports, increased exports, and so on. That's a different dimension.
Whether we move
itself
to
as
a
well.
full-blown
Or whether or
transition
not,
point.
yeah, and so forth, in terms of transshipment and so
It'll
forth.
be nice if Mr. James could call in today. I
Yes.
know he's probably a busy man today after the opening last night.
No, Carl James, he'll have the time. I'm sure.
He'll have the time. So
he'll have the
If you can
time.
call in so we can ask him a couple of these.
Yes.
Joel, a question comes to mind. For instance, how many containers for every 10 containers that comes in, how many leave?
What are we shipping
I
out?
don't know the rate. I can hazard a guess. Well, first of all containers that come in full, they eventually will go back out empty. So there's a traffic. Oh, but I guess you mean full containers.
Full containers.
Full containers going back out. I can't tell you offhand, but I would think that the ratio probably will be something like 10 to 1. Or something like that, 10 to 1. 10 in and 1. Yes, but I could be wrong. I'm just having a guess, and I'm going to tell you about those who traditionally export, like ECGC, the St. Vincent Brewery, and so forth. There are companies like that who would export regionally and primarily, and so forth. But I just
like with the Becker Express Admiral or something like that to Barbados.
no, they'll use the same. They'll use like
okay.
Like the Geese line, and
Okay.
they use tropical shipping and the same
That's
container, right? Because you're speaking about containerized cargo, not in terms of what goes on the Admiralty. Yes.
To show our export activity.
Yeah, no, but the export activity will be significantly less than the import. And it will be like that for quite a while, because right now, more and more, we are leaning towards the production through services. Right? And you don't put services in a container per se, and so forth. But as we develop the services, there will be need for imported goods and so forth. And that kind of thing, and both on capital projects, and then let's say like in hotels, you have guests and so on there for food consumption and other things and so forth. So you'll always have that. So it is if persons raise the issue about the dichotomy between imports and exports, and so, it's not an issue that you should necessarily. Yes, we would want to export more, but you should not hang your hat on the fact that there's such a disparity between imports and export.
My view also on
container.
that, Joel, is that if we can, as we move to the service industry, if you can bring people here, we don't have to export a lot, because the people coming here in hotels could eat what we provide, what we produce. So we don't necessarily have to fill a container ship to take things out. If we could get people here to come here and consume what we produce.
Yeah, well,
I just wanted to add to what you're saying, to the point you're making, Fitz, is the value of that exchange that is significant. In other words, when the people we bring here and what they eat produced by your local, what is that value? Which is to ship it out, would it be the same value? You see what I'm saying, Joel? You don't see what I'm saying? In other words, the people who come, the tourists and whoever else, they got to eat, and we got to entertain them, and so on and so forth. That total value of the local consumption by these folks, what is that figure?
What you're saying is that if they come here, they will not only eat, but they will want to go to the beach.
They would go all over the place. What is the value of that package? As if my question.
Yes, right. So we'll have to get that kind of information and so on. But in terms of,
I just wanted to say, in part to the response you gave to Pijan's question about the exportation of containers. You see what I'm saying?
Full containers.
Yeah. By the way, somebody put the call for
James
to call. Our number is coming up. I don't know what it is.
And see,
But when next time it comes up,
Mr. James, please call us.
Yeah, okay, but if I
Sorry,
just
yeah, Joel, sorry.
on the question of even if the, let's say, a hotel has to
The person is calling again. Let's see if
That's
it's
right.
James calling there. Good morning. Welcome to the program.
Hey, morning, Cecil, Fit, John, Joel.
Sound
this
like
is the
Mac.
this is the
Sound like
chairman.
Mac.
That's the chairman.
The chairman,
Isn't that quite
chairman of
big?
the Port Authority.
But he's got, yeah. So yes,
Yes,
Chairman
yes.
Russell, greetings and welcome to the program. Happy to have you on.
Morning. Yes,
Yes.
yes, it was an excellent,
Congrats on yesterday's
Excellent.
event, buddy.
Yes.
yeah, an excellent
Yes.
event and a milestone that we all look forward to.
So sorry, Russell. Can I just ask for the benefit of our listeners, let's place you officially in terms of the call and what you're going to be saying. You're now the chairman of
Yes, I'm the chairman of.
The new
Well,
company.
I'm the chairman of the Port Authority, and now we move over to the chair
of the new company.
MPAC, the new operating
MPAC.
company.
All right. So you're speaking with that kind of authority.
Yes.
All right then. Great.
And
So
yes, I know I've been involved with it. I've been chairing the Port Authority since September on the 2021.
all right. Great.
And so when I took over chair, it was just before the groundbreaking of the new port.
Okay.
You know, so and as I listened to the conversation, right? When I got on board, there's a separate company that was dealing with construction and a supervision committee and all that. I was dealing with the construction of the physical plant, you know, and so I was charged with dealing with all the other issues, the other areas, and the board at that time. Joel was actually part of the board at that time. The first thing that we did was to develop a strategic plan that focused on getting all the other areas ready so when you make transition. And also, so it's a happy time to see everything actually come together and climb on the and yesterday.
Is Joel a member of your
And
board?
put us on that new start, so a new era.
Mark,
Right?
Joel is a member of your board?
Joel was a member of the
No, presently,
of the
man, because he came in
Port
here
Authority,
happy.
and he is a member of the operating company.
Okay, so
Well, sorry to come in, but he's happy to see the results of his hard work.
the man has been in his grin all over.
Yes. All right.
You know,
Yes.
yeah.
Go on, Russell.
Yes, you know, the event I want to focus on is that while two things I wanted to highlight, right? The first one is to show the vision of and the importance of leadership, right? When the Prime Minister announced the construction of a new port, based on the fact that the current care that we have for the old port now,
Old ports.
Something years.
Would you don't mind if I
Yes,
say
the old port.
old ports?
Yes, the old port for Elizabeth,
Okay. All right. Okay.
right? Now, last year, the Hurricane Beryl on the 1st of July mashed up the current old port there. We did a study on it, and the expert indicated that basically we have to take that down, right? Now, yesterday, open a new port. Had the Prime Minister take that this decision with his cabinet way back when they had those conversations in 2005 and 6 and 7 in terms of the conception of the issue, right? We would have been in a serious problem today.
Are you saying the Prime Minister does Serum Corner?
we could look at it, but again, this is where vision and leadership, come to the front. Had we not had that sort of vision, today we would have been talking about getting a new port, which would have been coming probably in the next 3 or 4 or 5 years at the expense at a higher cost. All the problems you'll have had with using the cruise ship port along with coming back with its limitation. And I think for me that is vision and leadership. Right? The second main point, other point I want to highlight, is in relation to the development of the staff and the role of the staff. Modern equipment and modern building don't deliver efficiency. It's people. You understand? And the use of people using the technology and the modern equipment and with modern management practices and so forth, it's helped to deliver the efficiency. And what we have been doing over the past 3 or 4 years in preparedness is looking at developing the training and development of the staff, create the right culture, changing out the IT system to make sure that it is a lot more robust. They deal with things of cyber security and all of that. Those are the things that sometimes people don't see because you see the physical building, but a lot of these are the things that are being done behind the scenes to make sure that we can deliver the sort of efficiency and productivity that people expect. So those are the 2 points I just want to highlight.
So Russell, were these 2 things part of the strategic plan that you mentioned earlier?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, all those ones and more. So, for example, we had to look at things like a fee review, looking at the fees, looking at the entire change out of equipment, make sure that they're more modernized, the IT infrastructure as the backbone to making sure that the whole system is functioning properly. We have to focus on that. So those are a lot of things that were actually in the strategic plan. A matter of fact, the study and cited these areas as and it did improvement. As a matter of fact, I was speaking with some of the officials from CDDA last night, and they were happy to know that we had developed the strategic plan that would have been, and the management and the board was things while action was actually taking place.
So the ceremony last night and the delivery of the port is, would you say, Angelica can come in if you wish, is the realization of the goal that you all set out in the strategic plan?
Yes. The construction was not part of the plan in any context. The construction of the plan period was focused on all the institutional arrangements and so forth to support the new code, the development of this. We did a job in classification and all of that. So to make the remuneration of this.
That was included in the strategic plan. The remuneration, the improved remuneration of staff. Okay, all
exactly. Right. So we look at bringing the salaries at least to average of market. Because the salaries for the workers was very low. And you can't build new buildings and spend millions on equipment, and then you don't spend any money on that's for their labor.
All right, Jelly, you want to make any comment?
What, Chairman Russell, what is the distinction to be made between the Port Authority and the operating company? What's the rationale behind setting up an operating company? And I would also like to ask, regionally, is this what prevails in other islands in the Eastern Caribbean?
Right. So the the current, before we did the separation, the current Port Authority was performing both operation of the port and the regulatory function of the port. Unfortunately, the full regulation of the port was given second to the operation. Now the separation, the government decided to separate the operations from the regulatory. We have an operating company, we call MPOC now, that will focus specifically in the operation of a privatized company that based on private sector type culture and operation, they expect to have greater efficiency and increase of who can now contribute a lot more to improve the logistics in terms of ship within the OECS and the region, right? And the Port Authority itself now will now focus on developing regulations and implementing the regulations related to regulating port operations in the country. You know, and there's another company that deals with the cruise in terms of the facility. So that is the separation that you have.
Hey, Mav, just to ask the question, how do you see this new port affecting the ordinary man on the ground? In terms of what are the expectations? Could we see like cheaper prices, maybe easier to clear goods when they come in? Just take us through that now.
Well, in several ways. First, straight off the bat, the new port is going to be implemented, is opening with using scan technology at the front, both in terms of barrel and container. Right? Now, with the use of the technology, I'm not too sure how soon the port and the customs will start allowing these things to help to reduce the amount of time, the turnaround time in terms of a barrel passing to a container passing through the customs. In fact, now they have the capacity to scan them and look to see if there's any drugs, firearms, or any illicit things that are inside of these. Right? That's straight off the bat. The port now allow the management to, especially side of the port, to go out there and attracting a business in terms of a shipping company using us as a transshipment. Right? That will help to improve business, and by improving business, improving profitability, helping to reduce the cost. Now we have facilities on site that could do stripping of the containers, a lot more stripping of the containers. So you don't have to take a container off site and pay all the costs associated. Right? So these are direct areas that will benefit. The other thing is that the port,
Russell, before you go on, Russell, may I come in to ask you to elaborate a bit on a particular point? You said currently when containers are taken off site for examination by custom officials, there's a cost to the owner or to the receiver.
Right. Yes,
right.
Yes.
But you're saying no. Yes. You're saying no.
No, the owner, a businessman could have to strip the container at the port at a much less cost than having to it and strip it and having to incur some of the costs that are associated with that.
Okay, so there would be possibly a reduced cost now because some of that will be done at port on site.
Yes.
Okay.
Precisely.
All right. Okay.
Precisely. Yes. And port is, as I was saying, it's an Ava Brown. Who is looking at how use the port to transition from the transformation of Kingston and the way where the port is of Kingston.
We kind of losing you. I wonder if you could shift your location a little bit so the voice is clear.
Okay. Tell me if you hear much better.
That sounds like a bit better, yes.
Yeah, the transformation of Kingston and the new opportunities for businesses and so forth. And as the port develop and contribute more towards the development of Kingston will allow for the creation of more opportunities for people.
Mm-hmm.
Hello?
Yes,
Yeah.
we're hearing you. So any...
Yeah, just a follow-up. Last night we heard the good news that this port management of this project was cited by CDB as the best project they've ever managed. You want to comment on that?
Well, from CDP, they would have made that comment based on how they would have seen project implemented. We have not heard of the length of. We look at project in terms of cost overrun and length of time that it takes for completion. And I believe that this project would have delivered within those sort of benchmarks. Right? That is how they would have seen it. And the government in its wisdom would have ensure that there is an oversight company that apart from the contractor, Akron, you had Cecil who provided oversight and that would have helped to make sure that things happen smoothly and look after our interests in relation to delivery based on time and cost.
What was noteworthy to me, gentlemen, is the fact that the same gentleman who spoke on behalf of Akron, Akron,
okay.
He said that from their experience, this project has come in third behind their work with the CN Tower in Canada and the Bermuda Airport.
Wow. And also...
And we had, guys, we had the oversight committee that was headed by Laurent and Pro.
Right. Well, all of those local structures are the ones that ensured that this delivery happened.
So that the resolution of, like in any project, you're going to have issues. The resolution of them, things and so forth would have been done more speedily based on the quality of the personnel that you have on these things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the great Linsky Douglas, I like that name. The great Linsky Douglas also said last night that the original cost of $650 million, even with the issues with the declutching, when he crunched the numbers, he would probably come in very close or on that number, which is significant.
Yeah.
Except my understanding is that the declutching cost is not.
No, exactly.
Yeah,
but
right.
time also is a cost, right? So
yeah.
That is what people judge. People judge the quality of it in terms of delivery of project, mainly based on those two areas.
Yeah.
If it within a budget and in terms of time delivery, along with the quality that you expected to deliver. And I show all the intentions who went there yesterday and had the opportunity to go through the buildings and inspect the facilities and so must comment that the quality of the product is an excellent one.
Yeah. I just wanted to say two small things. You referred to Linsky as the great. But there's one thing that I heard last night that justifies that characterization. I heard Dr. Salman saying, no, sorry, not Dr. Salman, the Akron representative saying that Linsky will be joining the staff of the CDB.
Yes, he has already joined the staff.
Right. So clearly, CDB is not PAM operation. So to move from Pope to the CDB is a huge credit for Lindsay. Let me say the second thing. The second thing is that I scanned the the audience last night. And it was significant to me that entire families were there. I saw youngsters as young as about 6, 7 years. They were there with their parents and a number of them. So that was significant to me. And linked to that, I have a friend who said that her 7-year-old son wanted to be there. But apparently she couldn't arrange for him to be there.
But you know, as you talk about Linsky going off to...
Remember...
I know.
Yeah.
Remember, as you talk about Linsky going off to the to CDB, it shows that he's a product of the education revolution. He was the man who managed this project, and he's seen internationally now as a
CDB.
Very good person that everybody
CDB.
wants.
Yes.
So I'm sure CDB would not have allowed him to slip out of their hands. And probably Akon will probably take him, you know.
Yes.
So he's a man who will still be in the region, serving us in the region. I want to congratulate him.
But guys, just to say, right, that Linsky was also a staff at the Port Authority.
You see?
And I must say that between himself and Carl James, who is the current CEO of the company, both are two excellent young Vincentians that we must be proud of. You know, who have the capacity to in any country in their field and so exceptionally.
Muff, don't go yet. I want to invite persons who wish to call, who have access to WhatsApp, and they wish to call to engage you. They can do so now. 457-9997 is the number to call. WhatsApp, because the straight line is occupied. So if anybody wishes to call to interact and ask you a question and to comment on anything that you have said, they're welcome to do so now. Pigeon, in the meantime, anything you want to say?
I just, what are the major lessons learned by the entities that were supervising the project? Any particular lesson that we could draw from?
You want to ask the question to me?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't hear the question.
I would say, what are the lessons we could learn from the implementation of the project so far?
Well, first and foremost, planning. Importance of planning, and because we had planning at all levels, from the project for the building of the fiscal plan, as well as the planning in relation to all the institutional arrangements and developing the Port Authority. Bringing it back from, because when our boat took over, the port was actually operating at a loss.
Okay.
So that was during COVID, and so we had to bring it back to profitability. You know, so a lot of it was really planning and leadership, and having vision, set out your vision and aim towards it.
The other thing of note, what is the average age of the personnel and leadership that actually implement the project? When I hear names like Douglas, when I have a Brown, I'm getting the sense that most people tend to be under 40.
Well, the age, yes. Well, some of it's not under 40, but you might find between 30 and 35 and well, when I have is much longer, but between and 45.
I think she's 33.
Yeah.
30.
Yeah.
But Marv, Pigeon asked for the average age.
Generally,
he asked for the average, eh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have that information, no, right? But I guess in terms of when you look at the leaders at all the different levels, yes, they're very young people. Carl James, Manava, even the PS Poppy, will play a critical role as well in the ministry. She as well is not an old person. So we have a lot of young people and women.
And most of the...
If you look at it, for example, if you look at the management at the port, it's very young people as well, same sort of age group. Yeah, the IT manager, the auditing manager. I don't think that at 35 is yet.
Let me ask,
You know,
who has responsibility now for the Camden Park and the old Kingston Port?
well, the Camden Park port will only the bulk the cargo that they will have broken before they open. They will just continue to allow persons to pick those up there. But and then they close it down. I probably open for a couple of weeks or so. Right? And then in town the similar thing will be done in relation to the cargo there.
If somebody wants to lease, say, the Camden Park Port,
the facilities,
who they come to after it's closed? Would it be MPOC or the ministry? I don't know.
The government still have a lease agreement with it, because remember the Camden Park Port is owned by a company that, while the company is defunct now, there's plans to sort of regularize it. But the government has a lease agreement with it. So the government will have to deal with it. But they're looking at actually sorting out all those arrangements.
Okay.
All right, but Russell, just before you go on under your other hat, Bank of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and tell us which hat you wear, so we'll be clear.
Which hat I wear? The bank?
The Bank of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Well,
I'm the senior manager retail.
Okay. I can't help but noting that in your spread for Independence greetings to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, your caption is achieving excellence through strategic opportunity optimization. Would you say that's a good way also to use in terms of the port operation? A good
well, of course, and the bank has been one of the financiers. So they did the project as well in terms of the equipment, you know, and the bank is playing a role in helping the transformation of the country and the development of our people.
Okay. Any other bright thing you want to tell us about what's happening at the bank?
You're giving them a plug there. You're giving them a plug there, Cecil.
I'm giving him the opportunity.
Okay.
No, the bank, the bank has also to speak on it. But just to say that the bank continues to be profitable and is a good opportunity for investment.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and
divestment too.
We are happy to play a role in leading the transformation and development of our people. In terms of technology, you know, we are happy that we are there. Not only the largest bank in terms of deposits and loans, but we lead in all of the areas in terms of branches, in terms of ATM network, point of sale network. You know, the bank has definitely positioned itself to make sure that especially the leading bank and where we came from. Remember when the bank was set up 40-something years ago.
Do you have that exact number? The number of years? Because I was looking at it in relation to the country's independence. How many years?
Yeah, I think it's not 77. I think it's 1977 around there. That could be corrected. I think 77 or 76 the bank was actually established. You know, to make sure that Vincentian who couldn't get bank account from the foreign banks was able to have banking services. And Bank of St. Vincent for the National Commercial Bank has stick to that motto till today. You can find Bank of St. Vincent in every aspect of our country, whether it's in terms of a branch, ATM, point of sale, or
And I'm sure
Yes.
I'm sure you would credit all of that to good leadership.
Yes, of course. Yes, of course.
But then-
Leadership, both in terms of from the government, both and we have an excellent team headed by Derry Williams. You know that similar again, and we had a set of old guys, but we have had
guys and
plenty years
women.
in banking.
Don't worry, man. You have a lot of old customers.
As a matter of fact, this year is my 34th year.
Yeah.
No, my 35th year in banking. Derry is doing his 36th. You know, as I know, yeah. So we have a strong cadre of professionals leading the bank.
I was raising these issues in the context of our for the 6th anniversary of independence. So so people could see where the bank, what role the bank has played, and the history of the bank in that context.
Yes, the bank is actually linked close to the independent era, and it could actually be a product of our independence.
Mm-hmm. And early on, I said, I think Joel wanted to comment.
Started 3 years before.
Yeah. Early on, I said, I think I used the word good leadership, but I meant visionary leadership. That's the word I should have used.
Yeah.
I think
Joel.
you're probably going back to the 1970s.
Okay.
Because that is where it all started. And I think sometimes that we have to remember those persons who were in the vanguard at the very beginning. And, you know, we have people like Claude Samuel, for example, who has been the first
the
first general manager. Julian Francis also was a key plus in the early days. And so on. I think when I started to work, my first bank account was actually with NCB. So that's a long time ago. But
so which means it's millions now in that account.
Very empty. But yeah, exactly. Yeah,
the point that you're making there, right? I think sometimes it will be good to hear people from that era speak and help to educate the younger generation in terms of what things were back then. You know, and I hope what we see today, it was not like that back then, you know? As I say, from when she came.
Yes, I have a question for you and to make a comment. I'll say the question first. How many ATMs does the Bank of St. Vincent and Grenadines have stationed around St. Vincent and Grenadines? This is very important because we take the ATM for granted today, right? But basically, it's a 24-hour banking service that long ago it was a real challenge for persons if they needed cash and so forth. And you had to go into town, go in a line, spend virtually if you're from Chateaubriand or from Sandy Bay or from Union Island, it's a whole day activity to get some money from your bank account. That is the kind of challenge that it was. But the ATM machine actually helps the economy of St. Vincent and Grenadines in a significant way. You know, it allows persons to spend, and of course, naturally, as we move on to having like debit cards and credit cards and so on, they make a significant contribution. But I just wanted to get a feel because these days, you know, like from where I live, I can say drive to Calicut, there's an ATM machine there now. They go to Annisville. There are about 3 in Annisville and so forth. But do you have an idea of how many ATM machines? And then I come back with I want to make a comment afterwards.
We have about around 22 ATMs out there. And what we have done is like in the case, for example, in the case of the Grenadines, where we may not be able to go there immediately. Say, for example, one is down. What we have done is to make sure that there's 2 at minimum on each island. And so we go by the bank. And now in Calicut, where, for example, Calicut is a highly used area, we have 2 now by the location in Calicut where they are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ma'am, as we talk about the ATM and point of sale, can a private person like Joel come to the bank and work an arrangement where he could have point of sale or ATM in his business house?
Well, point of sale is not a problem. Easy. You see, with PMs is because Bank of St. Vincent is now ISO certified and PDSI certified, right? So, because of the standards that we have to maintain, it makes it a lot difficult in terms of putting an ATM and those kind of things off by different people because of the standards to maintain. Yeah.
Okay.
And of course, the location has to be strategic.
Yes.
As well.
Yes,
And important. Yes.
Because strategic is of traffic and we look at this, you have
Security.
crime.
Yeah, security.
And security, the security,
Yes.
But I want to encourage a lot of persons to use the card and the business people to use point of sale.
Yeah.
Because a lot of business people focus on the discount rate and see it as high and want to charge people. Now that is illegal against visa rules in terms of business people charging people a fee to use the card. That is illegal and people should not pay. Right? But the use of the point of sale, it helps you to reduce the amount of cash in your system. If you were to cost the systems that you have in place for cash, right? I can guarantee you it will work out a lot more than the cost of using the point of sale.
Could you go over that, please? If you were to
Okay. For example, right, when the cash, the system of cash operations that you have now,
yes,
where you have to pay tellers to collect it, you have to lock off the cash, verify the cash, you have to take the cash to the bank. If you don't pay security, if you don't pay security, you're doing it at your own risk, right? Then the banks are charging you cash. If you they're charging you fee on the cash on the cash deposit on the cash that you deposit as a penalty to force you towards using more electronic means of payment.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's a fair point. Although sometimes, as I would have seen in my last days at the company where I worked, is that you see like payroll being a major expense head and so forth. But then you see the credit card and related charges and so on. It started to mount as more and more people started to use card, and so the merchant fee charges became significant. But as you said, you gain one way and you offset it against something else that you would have lost elsewhere.
Mav, I know we had you on for a while to talk about the port, and we went into the bank. But one last from me. If I want to buy shares in the bank now, what's the price per share?
The price of share I can't tell you offer now, but you could go on the Eastern Caribbean Stock Exchange
and
where they're traded.
Okay.
Yeah, and you find it there. And if remember the thing with that stock exchange, right? If you want to buy and there's nobody selling, you can go there and tell people you're willing to buy, and you put a price.
Yeah.
And you offer a price. And then you might get somebody willing to sell them.
Cecil.
No. Well, to sell, but Fitz upward prices unlimited.
Yes.
He's only my mind is a gold share. This is a price.
But Mav, Jolly asking. Mav,
yeah, okay. I had a comment to make, but I think I forgot the comment. This back to the port. Just a question though that, and I think the Prime Minister spoke to it last evening. He just spoke not only about the development of Kingston, the foreshore in its entirety, and so forth, and there are other things that we can discuss regarding what will happen up at the existing or the port that you virtually moving from, where the geese shed is and the cruise ship and all of that. We can discuss that maybe another time. But something we have to take into consideration is the entire southern tip of the island. What does it mean? And what is likely to come before our very eyes, manifest itself in brick and mortar and other things, not just in Kingston, but in Annesville, because there were other considerations regarding Annesville at one point as an option in terms of the new port and so forth. But there are options there, not just in terms of the city, but the marine space as well. And it extends on to the southern diamond out to Argyle and so forth. And there are a lot of possible things that can really lead to the full transformation of St. Vincent and the Grenadines over the next 12 to 15, 18 years.
Mm-hmm. Map, I have a feeling we would have to have you come in studio for us to talk about those things, because right now we kind of pressed for time.
But I have to go and cook. I go and cook.
Oh, you got
is my cooking time. I just used to listen.
So you're multi-talented gentleman. You're so
all right, guys, you all enjoy.
All right, thanks for calling and for sharing with us all that useful information. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful day. Okay, that was good that he called in, so we don't have to, Fitz, you don't need to call and call out James anymore. Because,
by the way, it was nice to see Shafiq Maloney at the last evening as well.
Oh, she was there.
Yeah, she was there.
Okay.
She troublesome bad though.
Troublesome
in a good way.
Oh, she was heckling you guys.
She has a beautiful personality.
Oh, she was heckling you guys.
I like her. She has a beautiful personality.
Oh, okay.
And she also is a very good. She does a good job for St. Vincent and Grenadines. Yeah. Excellent marketing. I think she's good.
Guys, you all realize we are into the independence. We have been into the independence discussion for a while. That's one of the areas we're supposed to. Right now we need to highlight any additional point. You guys have any additional point? Somebody's calling. Somebody's calling. Let's see who it is. Good morning. Welcome to the program.
Hey, morning, gentlemen.
Yeah. But before you do, as usual, Mr. Williams.
And I was by the
Mr. Williams, yes, but as usual, shift away from your device so we don't have the feedback.
Yes. Okay, just. Yeah, hear me better than right?
That's better, yes.
Yes, I was by port last night. And what really kept me intelligent and feeling is that I didn't know what so much Vincent and what they call them managers and managers, people that black fellas on the education revolution that was managing this thing so much.
Mr. Williams, what do you mean black fellas? What do you mean?
I like manager and
I see. I think I'm reading you. Okay. African heritage.
And thing now.
I would say African heritage, but it's all right. I understand you now. So you say many persons of that are in management positions. That's what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
And young fellas and things.
So you didn't see as many women? You
didn't.
Hold on, you didn't see as many young women? You didn't see as many young women, only fellas?
Yes. Well, we are young fellas like militia and them people, the engineers and things too, that doing roads and all kind of things too. Man and woman.
All right, thanks.
By fault. But who I was surprised to see, and I'm glad he was the opposition leader, but he didn't say nothing, didn't speak and things. And the people was heckling him, asking him, what are you doing and things.
Tell us how you feel about our independence.
Yeah, but no, he didn't speak because I don't think he was scheduled to speak.
Well, at least if you have a whole program, years ago, year come, teaching ain't good and it ain't go work and all kind of things. People go heckle if you start to talk because they go wonder if you sinking, even afraid to come to because you're supposed to be sinking. That was the normal.
Well, not necessarily, Williams. No, not necessarily. I mean,
Well,
if he had,
that reason I had to be careful with saying in front. As a man that want to lead a country, I have people interested at heart. I have people as the mental thing like that to carry on the legacy of the country.
but the finished product was on display, full display. So he could talk about the finished product.
So
Could have spoken about the finished product.
step in as a patriot like yourself. You think that it's a national project and everybody should have been there?
Everybody should have been there. That's why I called them yesterday when they were promoting the Jamaican guys said they're going to have something elsewhere.
Yesterday was Saturday. Yesterday was Saturday. Just remind you.
Well, I think it was Friday.
Okay.
Yes, for Friday. I was telling them, I said, man, if you encourage people to go down and see the future, man, and see this miracle take place, man, that would see them as the future and all kind of thing, man, the future for win. So, I want to give God give for independence. You know what happened to me, man? I imagine that I did not expect this thing was so big. It's sort of part, it's not the whole about, well, at BAM though, but as an economic BAM, we should have really know that if you have a port a whole in one ship, well, like less money, less development, but if you have a whole 2 or 3, then more money, more everything, and then bringing in people more important than sending out things. I would say no thing would be important too, but bringing in more development is a serious economic development for we. So we have to understand that when you talk in economics, where we do improve and all kind of thing, and the whole world hearing you. Because if you have a port that bringing in one ship, and you are sending them the whole thing before they come, you can bring 2 and 3. Now we could bring 2 and 3 more development because you more cars, more truck, more work, more everything. So I just say, we are the opposition. But when you have opposition talking that kind of way, the party name should be mentioned in a country like Sylvan, especially Amanda and Mr. Gonsalves. Your name should be mentioned as no party in Sylvan. You would not need them kind of thing in the first world country. Now they have first world development we have the that they give for independence. And you make it all kind of kind of assumption that this thinking that ain't going good, that ain't going right.
All right. Step in.
Yeah. Let me ask him one question for you before you leave. I want you to take this away with you. Do you know what is the theme for this year's independence celebration?
The theme?
Yeah. The motto, the theme. You don't know, right?
Well. I don't say I know exactly, but you're very important.
No. It's celebrating our identity, inspiring our future.
Well, how I could have missed that thing.
All right, Mr. Williams. All right, Mr. Williams. But how do you understand the future to be?
Well, I understand the future to be bright, and then we head into a fourth wall, another third wall, a fourth wall country with the development and good paying jobs, and the kind of vehicle and thing that we could bought and the kind of development coming to Sylvan Soup.
And how are we going to achieve that?
But we start to achieve it already. We have the airport. And then to God with this WAF and everything that's getting better every time.
All right, let's give somebody else a chance to comment.
Look at the kind of engineers and fellow people that we have at the ground here. Already. So we start to achieve it. Just mean these people now who don't know this thing. I had to teach other people now a way to go.
All right, step in. Let's move on to somebody else. Thanks. Thanks for calling us and for your
Or
ideas.
ask anything stupid I like?
No.
No, you've been
Sorry.
on a while, man. You've been on a while.
Yes. All
Okay,
right.
man.
Thanks for calling. Have a happy independence yourself. Yeah, Joe?
Yeah, I wanted to something that ran through my mind last night after hearing Carl James and then Linsky Douglas speak, and then I don't know, they didn't know Quincy James,
Yeah, Quincy.
but I really know little or nothing about him, but certainly again another Vincent, has been out there.
Just to say, I'm from the James clan too, so you know Fitz James.
Do you know Mikey James?
From Mesco?
No,
Mount Pleasant.
yeah.
That's Mikey's son.
Yeah.
Carl is Mikey's son.
Oh, I know Mikey James, who is in Mespo, that has Carlos James at Korea's
Yes,
father.
That's Mikey James has
Yeah,
been in working with bananas and so
Yes, banana.
on. And he managed for a while
I think Carl is related to
the operation.
Jackie Little.
Yeah. He managed for a while the
Maybe
operation
brothers
of
and sisters.
Carl James is Jackie Little's brother.
Brother, yes, that's right.
But Carlos James, who's at
different.
That yes.
No, I was saying that Mikey James managed banana operations at Orange Hill Farm for a while. I think.
Okay, so
that's Carl
yeah,
James.
okay. But the point that I wanted to make, so you had well, I won't put Isaac Solomon necessarily in the same category in terms of youthfulness, but certainly the
Why
talent.
not? Young.
No, but
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
But the talent and so on. So you have persons who are competent and so forth. Spoke one after the other, after the other, after the other, and so forth. But I'm just saying, one of the things that something we miss when these projects take place and they manifest themselves is the talent among Vincentian engineers and others and so on, who, as a result of the experience on these projects, that they develop this capability and expertise that we can actually.
Go ahead. I was just reminding that.
You have a call. Okay. Then I may come, but I think it's an important point, but I can come back
Make
to
a
it
note,
afterwards.
please. Greetings. Good afternoon. Good morning.
Good day. I don't think your WhatsApp is working. Good morning. This is Kojo Mason.
Kojo Mason. First up.
Yeah.
We will not accept private calls except we know who it is. I mean, you don't have to tell us. You don't have to give us your name when you call, but you need to just don't call us on private.
WhatsApp, but I can't get in.
But it's all right. You can. Okay. No, you can get in. Nobody has been on the WhatsApp all morning.
Maybe that's why.
Yeah, but I've been called now morning.
All right. I'll ask Karen to look into it. All right. So go ahead. If you wish to call back on the WhatsApp once we've fixed it. Go ahead.
No, I wanted to ask the guy from the port a question too.
Oh. Well, pose the questions. Maybe he might come back and answer them. Pose them.
Okay. It has to do with the traffic and the container, moving about in the streets at certain hours of the day when it's busy. Now that they have a big port and they could hold those containers along the period of time. Is it going to be allowed that the containers could move after busy hours? And so they won't be holding up the traffic.
Okay.
And now, because...
Joel, can you respond to that?
No, I think there's clearly a policy in it, and I think Panel Brown actually had written something on it and so forth. So, but I'm sure we can get an answer to that question before the program is out. I'm sure, right? So look out for the answer.
Because those containers coming from the leeward side mostly, they're problematic when they come.
Well, I am sure these people in traffic. I'm sure the people in traffic are aware and they're looking to all of that situation. But as Joel said, so maybe somebody might, perhaps ASP Brown may call us. I'm not sure. But now the WhatsApp is up. Apparently there was a little jinx with it, but it's up now. So you can call us back if you wish.
All right. Okay.
All right. Thanks for calling. Okay. and I noticed a number of persons were trying to call us, and now he's calling now. Chris Ralph is calling us on the WhatsApp.
But I still want to get back.
Just make a note. Yeah, Chris.
Hey, good morning,
You're
gentlemen.
feeling back.
It's
Okay.
Joel,
Morning,
Hey, Chris.
Cecil, and Pigeon.
Greetings.
You guys got a loaded team now, huh?
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
I hosted 4 heavyweights, and now the 5th one you're on.
No, I'm a featherweight man.
No.
But listen, this port thing was interesting. It took a short time to build. We have to recognize that.
Yeah.
They are an excellent company, an A-rated company in the world that does serious construction in the Midwest of the United States and Canada. And anybody who tries to say otherwise don't know what they're talking about. This is a big-time company. This project, the size of this project here is probably 1% of what they do yearly. Aecon, huge company, construction. They have some subsidiaries that I do work for from time to time, but that's a different story. The thing about the port construction, I've been trying to tell these guys in St. Grenadines, and when I say these guys, I'm talking people in authority, that there are ways we can do things very efficiently and not costly. I wouldn't say cheaply, but cost effectively. And Aecon just went on and proved to them that this is how you do construction in a developing country. Now, the way they reclaim the land is a point, and I'm glad every Vincentian saw that and they appreciate that, because most people you talk to will tell you they've never seen it that way. I've been talking about this method for a while, but now they've seen it. We can reclaim a lot more of Kingston. We can reclaim some of Kelakwa, the Shipping Bay area. I've talked about that. And we can create land space where right now there is water and develop these areas. You guys are hearing me?
Yes, very well, very well.
Yes.
Right. And I'm glad you guys have seen it. So there is no ifs, ands, or buts about whether it could happen. And there are other ways also of doing modern construction, which I'm involved in right now. And and Aecon displayed some of that right there on the port. That's why it was done so quickly. And I'm hoping that we embrace these new methods of constructing, of building out. And the people, I'm sure as more people go and use the port facilities, they will see it and they'll wonder how come they did this thing so quickly. I'm hoping that we do adapt, and we adapt a lot of these methods and means, and we build out something so much more cheaply than we are doing currently with blocks and concrete and just some expensive ways of getting to the end game. We need to embrace that. And Aecon put on a show down there, and I love it. That's what I'm hoping that we could learn and our takeaway from this. The other thing, Lasso Fray erupted and disrupted a lot of lives, but they have given us a lot of material that we need to work with. We could build out sentences from the material that So Fray dumped on us. A lot of it is sitting in the sea, from north all the way down to Brighton area, where the two currents meet. There's a lot of material out there that we could use to build out Simmons. And there are a lot more material on the slopes.
Chris, can I interject? Would you say that you're going to use them in a sustainable way?
Absolutely. They're talking about selling material to countries. That's where the conversation is. They have so much material out there. And right now, that's our black gold we have out there. But there are a lot more on the slopes of Simmons to come down. So I'm hoping that we use the material to our benefit. We expand Simmons. We change the shoreline in Simmons and Grenadines. We need to bring that further south. Just like the Acorn did with the port, we need to come to that particular alignment on the south and create a lot more space in town. We are too jammed up down there. So we could build southerly and get some wider roads down in through town. Talk about the tunnel linking Annisville with Kingston. I mean, the possibilities are endless. But once we embrace the modern way of building, we'll do it much more quickly and much more efficient. And that's the takeaway from that whole port construction. I know Acorn put on a show down there. It was great to see. And that's why Lenski, I used to talk to Lenski a lot of time. That's why Lenski is being an ace in the hole right now in the Caribbean, in the Southern Caribbean. You're not going to see Lenski in Simmons anytime soon.
Now we can extradite him back to St. Vincent. Don't worry.
Well, you got to create a new one. You got there are guys down there.
Yes,
you just got to open up.
Well,
to learn him.
Don't forget the potential of the education revolution. It's this.
Well, that's the point.
Right. It's limitless, really.
Right. So we can't lock guys into the old-fashioned way that we did things under the colonialists. We have to expand with the guys gotta look forward and embrace the new way of doing things. I'm learning new ways. Some things I'm seeing now in New York City. It's unbelievable that I'm involved in.
Chris, I thought you were gonna also talk about Dr. Rudy Matthias, local Vincentian who built the international airport, and now Linsky Douglas, as he called him, the ace in the hole with the modern port. And who's doing the hospital? Any?
Well, there's
OECC.
Yeah. Okay.
No, but
so is there a
also,
project manager there, a local?
I think
Yes.
the consultant there is Harris. Cecil.
Yes. Okay. Good. So the point is that we really don't have to go back to London, the UK, and so on to look for a project manager. We have people who are more than capable of showing up and doing well.
Correct, and that is why this gentleman, 79 years old, who have led the country for the last 24 and a half years.
You don't want to call the gentleman's name? Who are you referring to?
Well, I'm talking about the current leader, Ralph Gonsalves. He has been transformative. You don't get a leader doing a major port and an international airport within a 10-year period. You're not. That's a dream right there, pipe dream. Guys will say, man, you're smoking coke with weed with coke inside of it, if you talk about that.
But aren't you kind of going short as well? Where would you place the acute care center at Arnold'sville?
Well, I have not seen that.
Oh, okay,
yet.
Okay.
I've seen models and so on, but I haven't seen the product in motion. I'm talking two things, I've seen
that you've seen and in operation.
Yeah, and I've been able to talk to him with this port because I've done a lot of dredging in North America here, so I knew about the dredging and how materials come. Anytime you have to dredge, more materials come than you move. Once these currents, these ocean currents moving by, so that wasn't an issue. The thing about Port Kingston with the sheet piling retaining wall, I've been advocating the use of that for sea defenses in the country for a long time, and then you've seen the use there. And you see where it can work in some areas throughout the country. And it's very cost effective, much more than these X blocks is we use in, a very expensive way of doing sea defenses that we have been involved in the last 10 years. We need to embrace the sheet piling method. And Akon did that down there to build out Kingston. And we're going to do more of that because we have to. I heard him speaking about a wharf down at the western end, down the Grenadines Wharf, and they have to build out in order to put some high-rises.
That's the Rose Place end.
Yes, the Rose
okay.
Place, and then the eastern end, you have to build that out because you could do a lot of stuff down there. You could create 1,000 acres in Kingston, no problem. Because you have the material, to do it.
You said 1,000, You said 1,000.
I'm talking 1,000 acres.
Because
no, Chris.
Modern Port is 16 acres.
No, I don't see the 1,000.
You don't see it?
No, I don't.
You go from Old Woman's Point to King Garden Point?
No, I don't see it. But
well, I did a model on a aerial map I have of things. And I see 60. We could do 60 acres in honestly, in Calco, and well, now we limit ourselves because we are birthing closer to town, to the north, where this thing came out. You say what? When it came out 300 feet. Akon came out.
Yes, it's about that.
Yeah.
Close to Rose Place. That's it. Yeah.
Right, but I was thinking of going out to Old Woman's Point, which is the tip out there, to King Garden Point, to expand it.
But what about the current out there, Chris? If you had gone out, because remember, that cove would give you that.
You still need to have some. In any event,
and the depth out there.
But I take your point, however.
You see these ports along the eastern coast of the United States. They're not in any coves. They're not in any cove. You don't need a cove.
Chris, are you of the view that we can raise the capital for that
to that sort of work?
Yeah.
The money we spend on other things, if there's a big savings there, I don't want to get involved with it. This is an argument I've been having for years.
Okay.
It's going to take years to convince people otherwise, but I'm glad to see that a little piece of it was being done in Kingston.
Okay.
And we need to do more of that around the country where we could actually see the benefits. And we, a lot of people talking about, we're running out of horizontal space to build. We could create our space. They do it all over the world.
Yeah,
we have the material.
Chris, I wanted to agree with you broadly in the principle of your position, but not necessarily. I just don't see the 1,000 acres.
No,
I'm talking in Kingstown itself. Plus, we have even considered the depth, the draft and all of that, and what would be involved and so forth. But I do take the point though that there's more can be done in terms of sea defense and create great flatland, even on the windward coast, whether it's Argyle or the southeastern coast. And so there are opportunities, and this is something that I believe that we should be pursuing. I do buy the point, and I do also that we have aggregate and material, courtesy of the great lady up to the north.
Yes.
That can accommodate us in this regard. So I take the point, and it is something that I believe, if it's not being pursued, it's something that should be pursued. But I just don't subscribe to your 1,000 acres in Kingston.
But guys, you all would agree that we take it one bite at a time. Just like how we do construction, by and large, people do build their houses. You build on the drawing room, then the kitchen and so on. I think if we take that one bite at a time. We can reach more than 1,000 across around the country.
Oh, around the country, by the time like Kingston.
No, yeah, well, I just so
And
I don't think yeah, go ahead.
and the other thing too, same method. Maybe we find a different sandbank somewhere. We got to build out our beaches. We got to resand our beaches. I mean,
Not all
a
of
lot
them,
of it is being taken away. Huh?
Go ahead. Sorry.
Erosion. Yeah, we need same method, same dredging method from here. You bring it here to resand our beaches because we are selling that product too. We're in competition with other countries with beaches.
Anyway, Chris, we gotta come back to that discussion sometime when we could have a fuller length of time.
Yeah. I know how it goes, but I was just talking about the takeaway.
Yes,
from the construction of the port.
Yes,
what we have learned.
Because Pigeon
you,
had only asked about the takeaway, and you're adding that.
Yes. There you go.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Okay.
All right, Chris,
All right,
good to
thanks
hear from
again.
you.
Yeah.
Which come back to what I wanted to say.
Right, Joe.
It's back to it's kind of feeds off from what Chris said as well, but it's also a takeaway. And I just make the point that we are actually developing talent. We're developing expertise. Project, as you add one project on top of another and so forth. And, we have the Cubans providing medical services around the world and so forth. At one point, 40, 50 years ago, Vincentians used to have Vincentians providing their services in construction and so forth. But what I think now is that we have to see how we can actually harness the talent that we have and so forth, and see how we can actually manage to ensure that we can actually provide the service to Barbados. I'm sure that Mia Motley has plans that we can actually use Vincentian talent. I'll come back when you after this.
Hold on, Brother Roach. Yeah, Joel.
I think we have to see what we are developing, who we are developing, what we have in terms of the civil engineering skills and so forth, and where we can go as a country. Even though that the individuals just have the option to go wherever they want to go. But at the end of the day, we still have to think in terms of how the country can actually go. And each major project, actually enhances our skills in a significant way. And my last comment is that the 45% of the labor force on the port project was locals. I would love to see more that we actually have the talent where we can go from one to the next, where it moves from 45% to 65% and so forth as we move forward.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Brother Roach. Good morning. Good afternoon.
Yeah, I want to say happy independence to all Vincentian.
Same to you, Mr. Roach.
Hello.
Yeah, same to you.
Vincentians
are listening.
Yeah, I was looking at the port yesterday because I work at the port in Grenada, and I was like excited to see all how it moves so fast. And the guy was saying about speedy, and it's a business, and I hope they can run it as a business, make money and thing, I said, it's lucky to have two ports, two big ports, Cameron Park and Kingston, so it's in a good shape, so I'm very happy, so, and the length, and I read up a lot. I really read up a lot of it on the news and the Google it, so I know it's a good port, the length and stuff. And I think it's about 1,000 something feet in.
Yes,
Hello?
I think you're correct. Yeah, you're following, man. You're following.
No, well, I work on the port. So I know how it operates. It could carry, it could take 2 geese or 2 tropical. It's about
or 2 ocean.
So what do you do at the port?
Well, I work with the port. I do, and he was saying it's efficient. I work with the some like a skibidi, but not a skibidi, like a linesman. When the ship comes in, we dock up the ship. I'm not saying the tin doesn't have any. We work with the pilot. Like when the ship comes in, we attach the line to the bobblet and let go. So it's very efficient. So so you don't have to have the body to ship comes in. We know the ship comes in. We let go the ships and do different things. But it's a good port. And
so you're happy, okay?
All right.
Yeah, I'm happy. Yeah, and one last thing I want to know, if I know I work on cruise ships. I know in Mexico and stuff they use some of those ports as cruise ship too. They know they're having big cruise ship coming in now, I can the sea. And if things are slow, like with cargo ship, if you could use them as storage, if you could use them as cruise ship too. I don't know if they build in a way like it'll affect the people passing to come through the having a restroom. That's my because it's about making money.
All right, so that's your question, whether or not it can accommodate cruise ships. That's your question, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's somebody. Yes, Joel is going to answer it. Joel.
Yeah, there's a separation of cargo facilities and cruise facilities. This is separately, and there will be additional berthing will take place at the cruise ship facility as well. So more cruise ships would then be able to come. Right, basically we have effectively one berth and so a berth and a half right now, but we would be able to maybe double or even triple that in sometime in the near future. But there's a key point as you talk about thing is that people can come ashore, and the Prime Minister spoke last evening as well as about the plans for the development for the existing area where the cruise ship thing is for putting in shops. So there's an agreement is to be signed with a global port management company sometime soon, and within the next 2 weeks or so you will hear more about that and so forth. So I think there are plans where that is concerned. But one of the things that I want us to reflect on is that in Barbados, we have persons who come for cruise and stay. They can actually fly into Barbados, board, spend a week in a hotel, and then board a cruise ship that goes to Grenada, Aruba, Bonaire, Antigua, and so forth.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. That cruise lines had considered St. Vincent and Grenadines after the AI was built as a possibility where you can actually fly into St. Vincent, board in St. Vincent, and you can disembark here or disembark somewhere else to fly back to wherever you're coming from. But what is interesting to note is that there's an opportunity for you to go spend some time in the hotel. And actually, you also have the ship chandlery service that can provide for the cruise ship. Now, a cruise ship with 5,000 passengers and so on. And if they need to get some containers, and so that's a lot of containers to feed, especially if it's in the regular itinerary and so on. And so that the cargo facility will make a lot of money that way. They just have to find a way to get those containers from down the bottom downside up to the cruise ship area and so forth. So there are benefits around. It multiplies itself when you actually can tie everything together. And so on. So it's not just the port and the cruise ship, cargo and passenger, but also the hotels and so on can benefit.
All right, George.
My last question to ask you: what are you gonna do with the Camden Park port? What are you gonna do? You're gonna turn into a cruise ship dock or something like that? What are you gonna do?
Any of you guys want to respond to that? Because I don't think we have that information, that definitive information, so we cannot respond to you on that one. All right.
All right. Well, happy independence.
Well, how you see it though? How you see it? How you see it could be done though?
Well, I think because it's a product is there already, and we have a lot of cruise ship companies.
Right. So how you think it? How you think it could be used?
I think it just restructure it, put some stuff, because I was on cruise ship already, working ship in Mexico, put some toilets, some stuff, and then you just open country tourism, bringing more ships in the harbor, and you know what I mean?
All right. I think as Joel said a while ago, there are plans for Kingston itself. So let's wait until those plans come to fruition. All right. Thanks for your idea, for your call. Thanks for your call.
Take it easy, brother.
You too.
Enjoy yourself.
Yeah. I think he was just about to wish happy.
You're getting some new callers, man. You notice that?
Not really.
Just want to invite my friend who met me this week, ASP John from the training school, police training school. He listens every Sunday.
Okay, so give him a shout out.
Yeah, man. And he told me now that we have relaxed, give him an independence break that he doesn't have to call his name. You'll call.
No, well, we use our judgment, I mean, we don't insist. We don't insist. And in fact, somebody's calling now.
I know we have a cover. I want us to cover the exhibition as well.
Yeah. We have a number of things to cover, really. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I would like to know how much big ships, the new port can hold.
Joel, you want to give a...
Big ship, meaning...
what size do you have in mind?
The cargo facility you're talking about?
No, pull up alongside the
Into the
boat.
cargo,
the
right?
boat, yeah.
Hello?
No, well,
Well, not necessarily cargo, ships in general, because in Barbados, I'm an airport worker in Barbados. So I was a sea traffic controller. And we can hold up to about 1,100 feet long cruise ships, and then about 3 or 4 container ships. So that's the kind of capacity I'm talking about.
you said cruise ships. Cruise ships. You said.
Yes, I did.
Right. The cruise ship. Well, Joel, you want to explain?
Well, I know the Barbados, the Bridgetown port facility. Basically, it is one continuous dock and so forth that actually accommodates boats, crews, and passengers, and crews and cargo. The new port in Sinbin, as far as I'm aware, it's basically I can't tell you the tonnage of the ships right now, but I can get that. But by and large, it caters to operating 2 ships, two cargo ships at the same time, right? In terms of the cruise facility, well, there would be provision for actually creating new berths and so forth to come in the near future. But right now, I would say by and large, you can accommodate 2 ships.
And can you tell me it's separate? The cruise.
The cruise facility is separate in the Kingston Harbor. One's on the southeastern side, and the new port is actually on the northwestern side of the Kingston Harbor. They'll be separate, and they definitely will be operated separately altogether. But by and large, it is the class ships like the Oasis class and so on, and like Monica Seas and so on, with 7,000 passengers and so forth. It's a challenge, but we can actually accommodate ships that can carry 5,000 or 6,000 passengers right now on one side of the berth, and we can carry smaller ships that maybe can accommodate 1,200 to 1,500 passengers on it. That's how it is right now. But that will be changed in short order.
All right, my friend.
But I just want to say, though, whatever it is good movement forward. And despite whatever you say about Professor Gonzalez, you got to tap him on the shoulder and congratulate him for the good work he's doing in St. Vincent.
Well, take a flight and come over later on.
But listen, my mother and father are Vincentians.
Oh, okay.
So I always say that I am a half of Vincentian because I'm from the Horn clan.
Horn.
Yeah.
Okay.
John Horn and you sit for that crowd.
Oh, okay.
So how do you feel about the free? How do you feel about the free movement? How do you feel about the free?
The ship we went to St. Vincent on was a ship called the Anna Caterina, which was a feeder ship, a container ship. That was some years ago.
Well, he qualifies as a Vincentian. He says his mother.
Yeah, I know, but I wanted to get his views on the
full free movement.
The full free movement that was introduced on October 1 between Barbados, St. Vincent, Belize, Dominica.
Well, let me say this. I don't have a problem with it, but I got issues with Belize. Because I want to know what happened to places like Trinidad, Antigua, St. Lucia, Grenada.
Well, it's their choice, you know. They're not ready yet. They indicated that they're not ready yet, but they will come.
I hope they will.
They will come.
But I got issues with Belize.
All right. Belize is a member of CARICOM.
Before I go, let me ask this other question. Will there be a seaman center? Because if you're looking to keep ships there overnight, there has to be some shoreside kind of entertainment. And we usually call it the seaman center.
I hear you.
Where the fellas could go ashore.
Yep, I hear you.
And get good entertainment, drink a beer, read a book, go in a piano room, go play dominoes, pool, whatever.
I think you better call back when we're ready to move in that direction. I think we're going to have a discussion soon And maybe you should call back then to give some ideas.
Yeah, but I can just respond and say that consideration for things like that, and now is the time for that. I'm not so sure it is down on paper specifically, but I am pretty confident that is something that will, if it's not included right now, it's something to be considered, because the crew especially the cruise ship, they spend a lot of money, and they need it. If we want ships to overnight or leave at midnight or whatever it is, we have to have provision facilities for crew members.
Well, that's a fantastic idea, my friend. Thanks for calling.
Thanks, guys.
All right, then.
And happy Independence to St. Vincent.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All the best to you
All
as
right.
well. Thanks. Yeah. Okay. So, Joel, your point. Go back to your point, because
given the time, we have everything Vince is taking place.
Let's not. Let me hold it back. Let me deal with this. We come to that in a while, because we have some other things.
Go ahead. So what do you?
We have another thing that we have mentioned. For example, I was saying we started the independence discussion, but I also wanted to note as well the messages from the two political leaders, which I thought was that interesting. For example, from the leader of the opposition, Dr. Godwin Friday, the caption is, quote, "Making change and shaping our future," unquote. And from Prime Minister Gonzalez, his caption is, "Own the future." And I just wanted to, I was thinking of reading an excerpt from each of them. But how do you guys see those captions?
Well, it's all about the future.
Yes.
And the independence team is also about the future. So
Right.
it's good that we are looking into the future, and really that's where we talk about development and making sure it's just not rhetoric, and we see action when you talk about owning the future.
Pijan, you coming in?
The only thing that I would like to add, though, is it would be good for us to define the future, to create a picture of what does this future look like.
Well, that's why I would want you.
No, but, okay, we can talk about it, but to me, it's a very engaging thing, because
the future would be defined. There's a election campaign supposed to start soon in intense fashion, I'm sure.
How soon?
Soon. Very soon.
Seeing that we don't know, none of us know.
Listen,
so
we know. Let's not.
Well, I don't know. If you know, you can share it with us and our listeners.
Soon is a date, Soon is a date.
Well, if you say you know, let's hear it, so we can use it as a reference.
You want us to speculate on dates?
No, I'm not speculating. I don't speculate.
No, but I'm talking.
We can only speculate.
I'm talking about both parties are basically talking about the future.
Exactly.
And we are in a hot campaign for the votes to decide who is going to take us into that future. Last week we had a discussion with the youth. They're the future, right? And we heard the youth say last week talking about who they would prefer to see taking them into the future. The other side will have to convince them that they have a better plan for the future. And that is what's going to determine, in my opinion, the outcome of the election. Who has the better plan, and who could basically articulate that plan and make it sellable and compelling, so that we can get particularly the youth votes to come out and vote for their future.
I think it's more than vote, and that is why the Prime Minister's call for us to be a first world country by 2040 is a more attractive narrative than just simply the short-term plan of winning an election. It's more that's more than winning an election. And we don't often talk about long-term vision with such practicality as the Prime Minister did.
Well, in fact, Bijan, I see a number. It looks like it resembles the PM's number. So let me take the call here. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program.
Good afternoon, Good afternoon, Cecil, and
Greetings.
the
P.
panelists.
Greetings,
good
greetings.
afternoon.
You have Joel and P. John and
Fitz.
The great one, the
And
money,
Fitz.
the moneyed one,
Wh-
the moneyed one.
Which one is
Fitz.
the money one, Joel? Good morning, good afternoon, PM.
Well,
good to have you.
I'm sorry for the last few weeks you haven't heard me because I've been having some sessions in the morning on Sundays.
In fact, Peter been posing the question, what happened to PM? He give up our station, our program?
No, not at all. But I have a little gap before I hit the road.
Mhm.
I have to go out to Goss. There's the East Kingston constituency council has over 100 persons there under the tents by my residence.
Did he say East?
East Kingston. Yeah, I
Doing
saw
some
them
preparations.
gathering at the top of the hill when I was coming in.
Okay.
And then I have to go to the Madonga Festival
Oh,
at Rabaka.
yeah.
Those are the two major events. Other things in between, but those are the two major ones. I really want to thank the program for continuing the discussion on the port. As I don't want to rehash what I said in my speech yesterday, and it would be fresh in everybody's mind. But one of the lessons of leadership in these countries, where you have very small margins for error, and where you have to set about mobilizing financial, administrative, technical, professional resources. And it's a time-consuming process. So the management of time in these projects is critical. As I indicated, that the very day that we turned the Southern, the 13th of August, 2008 at Argyle, when I got back to office, I was telling Vincent Beach and Sims Martin of blessed memory that we have to start the initiation of the project to build the port, to build the modern port. As you would have heard Quincy James said last night, the report, the scoping report first, published in 2010. Well, we had to start that earlier than 2010 because we had to get the CDB to come aboard. And then, of course, with the CDB, you have to do the tendering process. It's a long process, and then whoever is awarded the tender has to actually do the work, which took several months. And there were several studies after 2010. The point I was making is that if we awaited the completion of the Argyle International Airport in 2017, we'd have been in a perilous condition regarding port facilities, because the one in Kingston was falling apart, was aging, and there's a certain amount of remedial work you can do, maintenance work, when it's aging. And then, of course, the one at Camden Park was not well constructed and has limitations. I heard a brother at the port who called in and said that you have two large ports. Well, the Camden Park is not a particularly large port, because if you take the vessels which come from Tankwell and Ark, out of Jamaica, bringing materials for the housing program, those boats are just too long for the pier down in Camden Park. That's just one example. So it has served for a while, and it will still have some life in it for us to do some entrepreneur activity, and some people have been expressing interest. But the port at Camden Park is really chalk to the cheese which we have in Kingston. the modern port. So we have to put these things in their proper perspectives. What I really want to talk about, and by the way, I thought that Chris Ralph, who is a practical man working in these areas in the United States in construction, he has brought very interesting perspectives. You don't have to agree with everything he says, but his mind is always working in a creative way. And he's stuffed with common sense and real practical wisdom. Born of years of experience. The development of St. Vincent and the Grenadines for the future. And let me just say this. You mentioned, Cecil, that the leader of the opposition message was about something, I can't remember, something to shape the future, something like that.
Making change and shaping our future.
Making change and shaping the future. Well, that's not their slogan. Their theme for this election is a very banal one. Together we win. But they're now seeing the conceptual limitation of that, because you have billboards up and advertising, all the advertising online and everything. You said, together we win, vote NDP. But all you have is a set of politicians with no people around saying, together we win. Well, you win for yourself. What is that? What is a rip-off in a summary way for Kamala's slogan in Trinidad, theme in Trinidad? When UNC wins, everybody wins. Well, that itself was a fairly banal one. It didn't say much, and the PNM allowed them to get away with a lot of foolishness in the campaign. But if you notice, the twin joinder of the ULP, Labour is working for Allowee, and that is conjoined with owning the future. That's why on our platforms you find a coherence and a consistency. Everybody speaks towards Labour is working for Allowee, has been since 2001, currently doing so, and owning the future. Our first rally down in Leo is about Labour is working for everybody. The one at Calico was own the future. Notice themes. The one for Tuesday is the headline, Labour stronger. But running through that is that we're working for everybody, and also we own in the future. Now, we have laid the platform, and it's not a static platform, not a static foundation. It's dynamic. But the base has been laid in every material particular. In infrastructure, in technology, in human development, many-sided indicators in human development, in our deepening regional integration, our work in foreign policy. All of these things have put us in a situation where we can launch in another phase in lifting SVG higher to take us to a first world nation status. And there are several programmatic elements for that particular status to be achieved in a 15-year period. And we have programs outlining for
the next 5 years. And you yourself, Joel, mentioned a couple of things, what we're going to do on the eastern end of the city and what we're doing on the western end of the city. I spoke about them last night.
Yes.
I don't have to go over them here in detail. You know what they are in terms of the port. The Grenadines and Regional Philbert to the west of the current modern port. Then the entire development of that area, for which I provided all the elements. And then at the eastern end, the work which we are doing, exploratory work at the moment, and I'm hoping we can sign an agreement sometime between the 7th and the 12th of this month with a global organization dealing with ports to expand the current cruise ship pair and to build another in 2 phases. Investments about $70 million US. Private sector investment by this entity. And the cruise ship pair, the new one which would be built in a way to accommodate 2 large ships at any one time. And with onshore developments, we have things to do to the side of that and to the back of that. Getting a private sector entity to put a boutique hotel, the matter of a performing arts center, cultural center, as befitting a first world country, have run in the city. Those old buildings, which have served pretty well, from Petsaso right back to where there's a Chinese shop, Chinese food shop, restaurant there. That whole area has to be redeveloped. And then the tunnel under Cane Garden Point and the building out of the modern city at Annisvale. And we see anchor projects there already. A first world cricket facility, a first world hospital. And we have to strengthen the river defenses such to accommodate a project which will come up in Fenton, where you can do tongue houses up there for young professionals. And the runoff of the water, they would come down in that Annisvale River. So you have to do all those preparations, and I was hoping to find one place that I can put everybody from Pole Yard. But that's not, we just don't have the land for one place, so we're going to have to put them about 3 different places. But that's a priority in the next term as we're building out the city at Annisvale. And we're putting the infrastructure, all the relevant infrastructure, lease property or sell as the case may be, in accordance with a particular plan, which we have already. And the linkage would take place with a 2-lane tunnel under Cane Garden Point. These are big ticket items in which we're going to have private-public partnership. That's where we are. Then, of course, we are going to have the Beaches Resort. That should finish by the end of 2027, sometime 2028. The Peter's Hope Hotel project. There's one. I met some people from Canada and the US in relation to rural tourism. They paid down some money. I've been advised on 10% money for the owners of what is called the Balcom property, going out on the point, opposite to where you get into Cecil, going up to Diamond Village now. That road.
Oh, yes, I'm fully well aware.
There's a piece of land in Orange Hill, which I urge that we save it, because we're going to have tourism development out there too. We've been talking to different people, but I have to make sure we get the right people. And meanwhile, fisheries and agriculture would have emphasis. providing a lot of supports for those. And the education revolution continue to build out. We're going to build a science and technology, advanced technology center with traditional lab stuff, but also information technology and AI. We demarcated the land already, going up by at French's to the back of the university, the global campus there. And we're in the process of setting up something is called Science and Advanced Technology Brain Trust. There's a nuclear physicist from St. Vincent and the Grenadines who came to see me a few weeks ago, and I asked him to do me something, to write me a paper on this and to identify persons for me who could be on such an advisory body.
Okay.
I have higher education agreements with Taiwan for persons to come here to teach as professors, people from Morocco. And Morocco is very strong on technical education. And those alliances would be broadened. Because technology is going to be critical. The advanced technology. Now, there are persons who scoff at first world. I saw my old schoolmate Adrian Fraser did so in an article about 2-3 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, Adrian understands history better than the future. Because he has a notion of the first world, which is an ancient notion. Switzerland is a first world nation. Switzerland is a small country. It has machine tools, pharmaceuticals, and watches and clocks, a lot of tourism, financial services. Singapore is 240 square miles, or thereabouts. It's about 3 million people.
No,
It's a first world
4.5
country.
million.
4.5
million. 3 million, 4.5 million. The 3 million, I think, is mainly of Chinese descent.
Yes.
And the balance is between Indian and Malay descent.
Fine. Good. I'm using numbers clearly. They're not up to date. And thanks. Estonia, former Soviet Republic, several other countries. Iceland is at the moment, according to the United Nations Development Program, the top country in the world in terms of human development. The top everybody in the 2025 report by UNDP. That's only 400,000 persons. But you don't have to have an industrial base anymore to be a first world country. You have to deal with technology and what you have to develop the quality of the standards. And we are going to build 2 schools to begin with, 2 secondary schools. One at Belvedere, Brighton, and the other one at Orange Hill. They're going to be futuristic schools. Extraordinary. And while we are doing these things, some people on the other side still talking about pit toilet. We have to early next year commence the expansion of the building for Argyle International Airport, because by the time beaches finish in late 2027, 2028, more likely 2028, you're going to have a huge demand. The demand is in fact rising rapidly already. So these are signposts. But one of the things which we have to do, we have to talk to our people about themselves. We have to pose important questions to get a mindset towards this first world, towards lifting the game. And we have been doing so, and we have seen immense progress, because there's a genius resident of our people which is responding to this. You know, we have to ask people basically to come home to themselves. And central to this homecoming is, what image do you have of yourself? Do you like yourself? You can never really like anybody unless you first like yourself. Do you believe in yourself? You can never achieve your full potential in life if you do not believe in yourself. Do you know or understand what abilities or resources you possess in yourself? And you can't develop these abilities within and for yourself, for your family and your community and your country, unless you know or understand that which you possess in you. And from these basic questions about yourself, you proceed to ask, what kind of society are we striving for? What image do we have of the society that we are striving to build? What future do you want for yourself and your children? And in relation to the first-time voter, the 18-year-old, what do you want to do or be in 2040 when you're 33 years old? And the point is this: what you want to do or be 15 years' time, to a large extent depend on what you do now and in the next few years in respect of your further education, training, and preparation for an appropriate job with an employer, or are you involved in self-employed activity? What about obtaining a piece of land and a house? And the vital question politically, which political party is the one most likely to help you obtaining the training, your education, your job, your house, or your land? You know, and the answer will be clear once the discussion proceeds in the manner in which I'm suggesting. And I'm giving a summation. A lot of this is fleshed out. In fact, there's a publication which is right now in press, and the title of it, which would be a document which would accompany the manifesto. It probably may come out before the manifesto, because you'll have to do a reading about it. It's about taking St. Vincent and the Grenadines to a first world nation, developing it as a first world nation. And we have all the issues outlined in this document, which should be probably about 50 pages. It's printed. So I heard you talking about the future. I give you what this matter is about. I've been thinking about this for a long time. In 1994, I wrote a book entitled History and the Future, The Caribbean Perspective. Pigeon, you know the book?
Yes, I remember that.
So, it's not now I've been thinking about this thing. That's over 3 decades ago. I mean, I've been thinking about it even before that. You know, since I've been involved as an activist 57 years ago. It's not yesterday. And I am not in the business of telling people that you mustn't have a great ambition. When in 2002, after we had started in train for the universal access to secondary education by 2005, I said in 2002, one aspect of our education revolution is to have one college or university graduate per household on an average. By 2030, I was lampooned by my critics. Oh, he's arrogant. You're only going to be there for five years. In any case, you wouldn't be there anywhere near to 2030. So we're talking about. Yeah, do some low-hanging fruit now. Clean some weeds now. Don't have any don't have any big vision. But here am I in the land of the living after 25 years in office, and we are on target to achieve one college or university graduate per household by 2030.
So
by the way, that was the time which the NDP had set to have universal secondary education. You know, they're doing it by pilot studies. They passed allowed their thinking to the World Bank, who had a notion about us, which is derived from a kind of noblesse oblige out of Europe and America, and not understanding the genius which is resident in our people. And if they knew our history, they would know that people who are not even literate in 1935 in St. Vincent, but hadn't finished primary school, I had accepted what the forward-thinking leaders of the time had said, that we must found the University of the West Indies, which happened in 1948. You know, the question of the hidden rationalities in people, in our people, and the job of leadership, the central task, is to draw out of people the goodness, nobility, and high quality. Oftentimes to draw out of them that goodness, nobility, and high quality which the people may not as yet know that they possess. They may be hidden, they may be submerged, but you can bring them forth. And we have been doing that. And we have to do that even more abundantly. So this notion of making the change what? Because for Friday and the NDP is the last train to San Fernando. You don't have no set of ideas. What are you going to do? If these guys manage a reggae singer, a dancehall singer, who last night up in Sandy Bay fatally wounded the NDP. You all should listen to some of the lyrics this man sang. And Friday was wrong. And he didn't pull the fella off. In fact, he said, Dr. Godwin had said I must keep it clean. He said, but the ladies tell me they want to hear this. So I'm going to sing it. Another time he said, well, the thugs them. Tell him to sing this. Something about gun. You know, elevating gun above thought. And that's where the power for them comes from. I mean, it was a horrible thing if you listen to some of it. You mean to say they couldn't even just... I can't talk the things on the radio. And
PM, we won't allow you to talk those things on the radio.
But you know about what I'm talking.
Yes, I listened to one or two, but I couldn't finish
it. If you don't have enough strength, I told everybody that Friday is lazy, he's weak, he's indecisive, he's a fake. And if you wanted any evidence of that was last night, I don't really blame the fella, you know. I blame the leadership of the NDP for not pulling the plug on the man.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Quite so. I was, PM, to be honest, I listened to one or two pieces, but I couldn't listen to the end because I was wondering, and for women who were listen, well, I don't know, I just find it amazing that persons who are in leadership, who call themselves leaders, allow that to go on. And women make up more than half of our population.
But it's not only offensive to women, it's offensive to men.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, of course.
You know, this morning, somebody called me and sent me this stuff and directed me where to go and listen. And that's why I spoke to you just now about what is the image you have of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Huh? What kind of society is striving for? But you see, there's a belief that if a few people like that sort of thing, you can you do it because you're pandering. You don't don't have any strength. You don't believe in anything. Now, if you want to talk those things in your bedroom and so forth, that's your private business. You see what I mean, Fitz?
Yes, PM.
But not to come in the public domain in that kind of manner.
I was asking the question earlier with a couple of even you guys here.
I didn't want to divert the discussion to that. I was just talking about the nature of leadership.
Yeah, right. About somebody even pulling the plug, just cut the broad.
Absolutely.
Just pull it. I mean, make a decision. And that is what leadership is all about. Just make a decision.
Well, I will tell you this.
The guys could make the mistakes and sing the crap, right? But somebody has to say, nah, this is not going out.
Last week at Calico, when I left, and some local entertainers were coming on, I had to come home to do some work, had some writing doing. I was concluding the proofreading and do some writing on a book on Caribbean political leadership. When it's printed, it's probably going to be about maybe 450 pages. And I want that to come out in time, hopefully, before the elections. Because leadership is an issue. You notice, regional integration is an important issue. I wrote a book on it. Labor is working for all. We put out a publication on that. Building own the future, a first world country within 15 years, on the process in a dynamic way for that. There's a publication on that. In addition to the manifesto and the youth manifesto. This is a serious exercise, You understand him, Pijan?
Yes, yes.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
Leadership is an issue, therefore I write a whole book on it. Not only for now, but for students and the general public, for the future too. You tell me you want to change Ralph, change the ULP, because we have been successful for 25 years. How are you going to do that? You want to take a chance with that? Do it with somebody else? Politics is not about serendipity, It's not about taking chances. We have fixed up the lotto pretty well. Anybody who wants to play 3D and scratchy can take a chance there at the lotto, but not with the country. It is self-evident to me. And what is interesting, the public, they are listening.
Mm-hmm.
Look, we were on, I began to speak at Leu when people were standing for 5 hours. And people listened to me. When I came on Calico, they were standing for over 4 hours. And they listened to me. You're not seeing that on the other platform. Because if you have a framework, together we win. It's an opportunistic formulation. It doesn't have depth. And Friday now realizes it. He's trying to pivot, and his advisors from the United Kingdom. Well, listen, Ralph is winning the debate on the future. You have to pivot there. That's how they advise him,
Mm-hmm.
Because what they had advised him first, and they wanted high-priced election consultants from Britain who are being paid for by the passport selling people. they have already lost the first round in this campaign, the opening bouts. Because what happened? They had advised them, stay away from leadership. Ralph will swamp you. Stay away from projects, because he has done so many magnificent projects. Stay away from those. Make a distinction between projects and people. It's an absurd distinction. Friday tried to make it, everybody knock him down. Because the projects are about people. Raboka is about people. Argyle is about people. The Modern Port is about people. The St. Vincent Beach Stadium is about people. It's rubbish. And Friday ought to have known better. So they had advised him, what you do, see if you can inflict damage on the ULP by a process called death by 1,000 cuts. Everywhere locally, you have a complaint. Some people throw some garbage by a gutter, the garbage is not picked up. Rather than the people putting it in the garbage tins to be picked up, they do it somewhere else. So they ain't picked that up yet, because a different mechanism has to be used for that. There's a piece of road with a pothole. Complain about that. Complain about there's a problem down at the hospital with a part of the roof. Complain about that. But don't say anything about the 65 persons who Dr. Patel, a friend of mine who came in with his neurosurgical team in the same week and did 14 operations, neurosurgical operations, right at the same hospital, and saved the 14 people's lives, free of cost. You hear me, Pijan?
Yes.
And in order, the fellas in the UK advised them, in order to get to do effectively death by a dangerous cuts and be a complaint industry, get some local people. Thus, they got the underwhelming people like a former principal down in North Leeward. Well, he got spread out by his own family members. Rasjon decided after one outing that he ain't going to bother with that. Then they had hugged up a fellow, a policeman who is a former policeman who is in Park Hill. A fellow, you have seen his postings, you have seen his
no need to
his
call
videos.
his PM, no need to call his name, but I've seen his.
No, I'm not calling his name.
Okay.
Those are the people whom they hugged up, because you see, they're not using the brain.
Mm-hmm.
The fellas tell them that, formalistic, that they take any rake and scrape and put them on the platform, because it fitted with that model. No, they have lost the early rungs of the pre-campaign. So Friday is now trying to pivot to the future. They're abandoning Together We Win. But that is all about on the billboards. They got to do some new billboards. Listen, you win this
He
thing
did
in
say,
your head,
PM, he did say in the promotion to the Sandy Bay rally that Sandy, not Winwood is their new home base. I think something, home ground.
Yeah. Well, the same thing that they say that they will win North Central. The same thing they say that they will win against Brewster. There's just craziness. Mark what I tell you. The Amazing Grace is going to win not Winwood by a bigger majority than Gomery had won at his highest. The Gomery highest number margin was about close to 350. Grace is going to win more than that. It's the shine of Mrs. John's ball, metaphorically, has been knocked off, and Grace, the Amazing Grace, is a star. So to Brewster, so to Cecil, and the Northern Star is Carlos James. And down in the Southern Grenadines, they're running scared for their life. And by the way, let me tell you, on Friday, I sent off a letter to Mr. Pinataro. the owner of the company, development company in the north of Canawan. You may recall that I had made an announcement a few weeks earlier at our party national council, and I've written to him telling him that we believe that there's a basis for us to forfeit, but without prejudice to that. We have done an assessment, and we have made him an offer to buy the remaining portion of the lease, which had been signed from the time of Sir James now, because the lease was passed on, sold to him by Mr. Saladino Group. And nothing has been happening up there since 2017. And the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines have lost any the sense that these developers can do anything further. And we should go our ways. And the government has made an offer based on the valuation, an international valuation, which we have done. And we will see how that pans out. That's a big decision, eh? And I had prepared the work properly, and I got the cabinet to agree. And that I sent off that letter. And on Friday. And this doesn't involve the freehold on which the Mandarin Hotel stands. And it doesn't involve the 15 parcels of land owned by companies controlled directly by Mr. Pinataro. Yes, 15 parcels. I'm talking about all the land which involves the lease in the developed area, which is the subject of the Canawan Development Act, which was passed in Parliament in 1991 during the NDP time. And I'm inviting him also to have discussion with the portion with the development outside down at Tamarin, in which the state owns 30% there, and also talk about the Soho House, which is an expansion of Mandarin. Sorry, not Mandarin, of Tamarin Beach. I'm prepared for discussion on that too. I would like to country to sever relations with this particular developer. I have taken a patience and a calm in dealing with this matter. And I have tried to see if we can get improvements. And I'm satisfied that that is not possible. And as I say, very little has been done in the north of Canawan.
Prime Minister,
I'm not talking about the south with Mr. Desmond. That's where the substantial investments have taken place. And that relationship is going along pretty well between the government and that investor. But Joel, you have to have leaders who are strong, leaders who are decisive, leaders who define the interests of the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and look to the future. And we are making that move, which I would say, from my assessment, all the stakeholders, all the major stakeholders in Canawan, the ordinary people in Canawan, the employees, and let me say this, and even the homeowners in the north. But let me say this, if there's any attempt to see if you can if anybody is sick, they can punish the workers by closing down the operations and put them out of work. I made the arrangements to fund those workers for the first 6 months initially, while this matter is settled. I hear silence from you all.
It's just that
But you
I'm amazed.
you understand the nature of this particular decision.
Yes.
And I want the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines decide on that too.
Yes.
You see what I mean? And I want the people of Canwan to decide on that too. And they're going to have an opportunity not too long from now.
Do you have an idea when you expect a response from the gentleman?
No, I told him it's a matter of urgency.
But PM, you have a time frame in mind in terms of when you're going to have this matter resolved, don't you?
I have one in mind, but I wouldn't tell you.
Okay. Well, I wasn't going to ask you for it. I just wanted.
There are many tactics along the way which I have to keep close to my chest.
Of course, understood.
I have a question before you go.
Well, all right.
My question is basically tomorrow's theme, Address to the Nation Independence Day. What is the focus, may I ask?
Well, the title of my address within the broad theme is called Relying on the Genius of Our People.
Okay. All right, I have two questions basically before we close up this morning.
Can I get one in?
Well, let me just pose these two because they've been hanging for a while. One is PM, somebody's asking whether or not you're going to take a second look at the constitution reform issue in order to facilitate the quest for first world status. And secondly, the person is asking about.
I would like the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines in various ways to advise me on that.
Okay.
They know where I stand.
Okay.
And if they want me to commence that process, as we did the last time, give me at least a 2/3 majority.
Okay. And the other one is the person's asking.
Because if I don't have that, the question is moot because the opposition doesn't support the relevant alterations in the Constitution to improve our governance.
Okay.
Even though the existing Constitution has served us pretty well up to this point.
Mm-hmm. And the person is asking about whether or not they're going to revisit the cross-country road.
I believe in the sequencing of things. That could come.
Okay.
But some of the other matters I mentioned would have an immediate priority, given the way in which we have been building out the modern, competitive, many-sided post-colonial economy, which is at once regional and global, national, regional, and global.
Fitz?
Yeah.
If you notice, Joel and me, John,
yes,
I have a clear view as to where we're going, you know. Huh? We have an absolutely clear view.
Hey, PM, I just
and
want...
we have had it from 2001, and we're taking things in stages and phases. And I don't want to leave behind any unfinished task. I want to put some things in place in the next 5 years so that the people of this country will see that we are on a path to a first world nation. When you hear these other guys talk from the opposition, it's a lot of piddling things. You know what I mean? Pigeon is like you get vexed if you get up a morning and the float in the toilet bowl get disconnected, so you can't really flush it. Well, you go fix that. Huh?
Yeah.
That's not rocket science.
PM, would you say they're assisting your campaign?
Well, so far, nothing they're saying making a lot of sense, and they're undermining their own effort. And what I have done, I have put myself in the heads of their advisors. I put myself in their heads.
All right.
PM, I just want to ask if you have
and
any...
I understand what they're trying to do, and what they're trying to do will fail. As you see already, you listened to every speaker at Leyu, at Kaliakwa. You listened to Benava last night. You listened to Cecil. You listened to me. You see one consistent set of messages. Huh? You have Leacock. I heard Leacock himself, but when I came up from the Taiwanese event a couple of weeks ago, they had a meeting out here, outside of the Prime Minister's residence here in Dason Cottage. And he said that the NDP oppose the $500 million investment. He said he didn't care about any 2,000 jobs for the beaches. Could you imagine that? The completely demagogic thing he went out on. He's fighting for his grandchildren to be able to bathe on that beach. But people bathe on the beach at Donga Bucament. I don't know where Leacock lives. And that's the same set of people who want to sell our passport and our sacred citizenship. Then I heard Bramble say that in giving back that persons can come back for their job and get their benefits. Well, they're coming back, the vaccine persons, and they're coming back. Most of them have come back. And persons have retired, and they're getting their retirement benefits. But Bramble said that part of those benefits involve giving them the back pay for the period they didn't work. Well, at back of the envelope calculation, that would be based upon the judgment, what I call an anti-vax judgment of first instance, over at least $60 million. The thing about that is this: that judgment has been overturned by the Court of Appeal. Well, they say they will not defend any appeal by the public servants. And they will go past, according to Bramble, the logic of Bramble, the Court of Appeal judgment which overturned the anti-vax judgment. Because remember, they said they will pay everything within 60 days. Well, they haven't even got leave yet to appeal to the Privy Council. I don't know who delayed what. Certainly not our side. So the case wouldn't be heard at the Privy Council. Well, Pigeon, their policy is to pay them the back pay. People who didn't work. So a man like Smith, he'd be lining up at the trough for over $250,000. Well, you know, they had said they would give Bigger Bigs $10 million. The Bigger Bigs loses the case. And I hear that some of them say, we still owe Marcus money. They got more money for Marcus. So everybody for them lining up at the trough. Huh? That's why they say, together we win.
Okay.
What do we?
Prime Minister, we have to go because
I just want to ask the PM finally, any word from Jamaica with the students?
I've just been in touch with the one of the leaders of the Vincentian Students Association. I've been in touch with both the president and the vice president several times. I've been in touch with the vice chancellor of the university, and as of about half an hour ago when I spoke to one of them in Jamaica, is that they started to rain on the campus area, but the place is still.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm concerned about, and I expressed that in a message. I don't know if you saw my message I sent to the students.
I saw it.
It's on my Facebook page.
Yes,
I saw it.
Yeah.
You saw it?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. I'm concerned about the aftermath from a security standpoint. So the university has assured me that there's a sufficiency, more than a sufficiency of security. Because the university has very good structures. They're well-built facilities, and they have good preparations, as you would expect of a university of that quality. But if you have the disaster happening, there are always some bad people, both within the university compound itself and from outside, who may create security issues. You understand what I'm saying? Always happens.
Yeah. Yes,
But that
Prime
is a
Minister.
matter to which, with which the university has to be alive, and they've assured me that they're alive to that. And you notice part of my presentation to the students was for them to be mindful about that. So that is something in the post-disaster situation.
Prime Minister, we absolutely have to go because Kieran has been patient with that. But before you go, let me just read a message from somebody. It says, PM, the Gibson family love you very much. Barely in the house. That's what the...
I thank them very much. I know them very well.
Okay.
No, as I tell you, brethren, you have listened to me in a summary form this morning, and I hope people have heard me. And I'm defining the issues sharply and with clarity so that people will see who has the vision for the future, who has been delivering, and who has been obstructing delivery on behalf of the people. The NDP is ill-prepared for government. On his deathbed, Sir James knew that. And they haven't improved. You hear me?
All right.
Thanks.
Thanks for calling us.
Happy
Thank you very much.
independence.
All the best to you too.
All right then. I have to apologize to Kieran in particular for holding it up, but couldn't cut at that point. All right, gentlemen, we have had a good program, and we want to thank our listeners and all those persons who called, especially Prime Minister Gonzalez, and to wish everybody happy Independence commemoration tomorrow. Yeah, Fitz and Pigeon. Yes.
Yes, I am. I'm just looking forward to I was hoping to get Rodney Small call in to talk about the parade tomorrow night, and I'm looking forward to the parade after Madongo Fest this afternoon, and then on Tuesday night we anticipate some big things at the rally.
All right. Yeah, all right. With that, we want to again say good afternoon to all our listeners and participation, and thank the management of Star FM and Garfin Radio for linking with us on the program this morning. My name is Cecil, and good afternoon.